Alright, welcome to episode 47 of What is Civilization Started Over. In the last episode then, we did some stuff that I didn't check over when I was looking at this. Oh my god. It was a while ago since I recorded a video, but I know that the Polish, they declared war on the country, the Ukrainians went to war with the blue country up here. I think there was a union between these two. That might have been an episode before. To be honest, just go look at the previous episode. You were there. You'd know. And today we're going to be doing more wars, and a very big war that's going to happen up here in the north, because we created a couple new alliances, including the Pentagon alliance, which should definitely have been here much earlier. That really should have existed so long ago, but it just never did, so that was stupid. But we also have this right-angled triangle alliance, which I guess also exists now. Anyway, we can take off the alliance layers, because we're going to do another smaller war before we get into it, and we need to go. We don't really need the major city layer because, the country who's getting invaded is this country right here. And unfortunately for them, they're getting invaded by both of their neighbors. So we see this, well, not both, but they're strong neighbors. The Euralia country up here in the north, they will invade and do a pretty good job, just removing some of the random, completely empty land over here, whilst the remainder of this territory will be annexed, well not annexed, but occupied by this other greenish country. So I'm glad that both of these greenish countries can now border each other, and we can get some excellent. Why are there so many provinces in this country? Greenish countries can now border each other, and we can get some excellent. Why are there so many provinces in this country? What? I didn't think there were that many here. Okay, well that's surprising. I thought it was just like a few big ones. I mean, there are a few big ones towards, I think, the outer regions. Oh, that's a surprise. I thought it was going to be like a really easy country to divide up, but potentially not. Also, I'm not sure if the borders are drawn here are great, because I held my finger, so it's probably going to be pretty bad. Alright, I see. Cool, that didn't fix anything, it just drew a new line over the line that I'd already drawn. There you go, there is the territory we're given to the Euralia country. Whilst here in the south we can see this random lake sort of country annex this territory and become kind of more Loxodon-ish, elephanty. You can get some horrible borders right here, because I cannot draw. Whoa, that is truly terrible. Oh god. Yeah, sorry about that, I gotta redraw this, because there is no way I'm keeping that in there. And yeah, we can probably finally get to our major war. I am, as I said before, pretty excited about what we could do in this era of time at the moment. However, we're leaving this slowly. There's some pretty big things that are going to happen pretty soon. We can also do some more colonization, because I hate how the Swedish colony looks at the moment. I just don't like this big open space that they've got going on. That looks horrible in my mind. So we can remove that and just fill in all of Quebec, really. Old Quebec used to go down there, though. It was like funny old Quebec. I'll also give them this island right here, just because maybe they'd want it. I don't know. Swedish, what do you want? And now let's go to the major war, which also pertains to the existence of Sweden, because a major thing just happened on this island. What really happened is that the Swedish own an island very close to here, and some people were hiding out on this island. Sort of pirates and people, they're trying to go around from the capital, intercepting trade and stuff, and building up their own sort of fortress on this island, near the Finnish island. So what the Swedish military did is they went and just attacked those people, but accidentally they attacked another island, this massive island over here, which is Ireland, I think, and killed a load of Finnish people by accident. They didn't mean to, but the Finnish took that as a sign of invasion, and they were like, they're just trying to use this as a cover-up story. They actually do want to invade us. So Finland will activate its entire Pentagon alliance and will declare war on the right-angle triangle alliance. So they begin the invasion in Sweden. They invade mainly up here in the north, but also here in the south. Well, mainly in the north and south, that's what I mean. Not in the mountains. And start to work their way towards the capital city. These Swedes hold a pretty good defensive over here near Stockholm, whatever. But these Finns do capture that city. However, they do manage to defend, so that's pretty good. Whilst the Polish, they're a bit slow to get started, because they didn't know about the stuff that's going on in Sweden. They didn't think they were going to get called into war right now. But they're a pretty strong country, so they are not too afraid of doing that. They quickly start to invade into the Latvian country, taking over 3 major cities in the early stages of the war. But the main thing that's great about the Polish position in Latvia is just how close the Polish are to the Latvian capital city, which is right here near Courland. So they managed to connect up a lot of these southern fronts because the Latvians aren't really defending their south. A lot of their cities are up here near the Gulf of Riga and surrounding territories. There's a few over here in the old pinkish country, but yeah, they're not really defending this much. So the Polish are able to push into this area pretty well, but beyond there, the defenses are rather good. They also sent some troops over to Sweden, which help in their defense against Finland, so they managed to push back a little bit around here, but do not retake this major city, and until the Finns take this stuff, and then they're able to do a special maneuver to take the city. And I know that looked like I got confused there, but no, that's generally what I wanted to happen. Up here in the north, these Swedes are doing a lot worse. They're just not really as capable to fight on all these islands, and these Finns will capture yet another major city of the Swedish country. So there's not too much important stuff around here. It's mostly down in the southern Norwegian bit, along the coast near Gothenburg. There's some stuff around these stupid lakes. I don't know what they're called, so I just call them stupid, which is mean. But these Finns will now start to push down here. The supply lines are pretty bad, probably up here in the north. But down here they're pretty good, because that's where the main invasion is occurring. Over here to Poland again, there's like two fronts in this war, so it's not going to be too tricky. The Polish take the capital city of Latvia. That was pretty predictable. And now they're going to work on this other Latvian territory towards these other major cities, but they are very well defended. We also have the Pink Country, which is kind of its own sort of thing. Like, it's still pretty autonomous within this country, so it's kind of hard to push into there because they've got like a pretty well organized military, because it's already its own state military. So yeah, they're kind of good for that. Yeah, that's how the war's going at the moment. The Polish and the Swedes can pull troops from their colonies, and the Polish colony is probably not as developed as this. This is a lot bigger. Well, maybe it is. It's got a few cities, and the Germans are pretty good at developing colonies. So, it is what it is. The Polish continue on their war. The thing is, they're fighting like all of these troops out of the red, the blue, the green, and the yellowish countries, so it's kind of tricky for them, but they do manage to do pretty well here in the south. But on this front, there's some pretty major defenses. Eventually, they're going to send a lot of troops from this front, which they just kind of give up on a little bit, as both of these major cities are recaptured, but they don't really push beyond there, as the Polish start to work towards these two cities up here on the Latvian-Estonian border, surrounding this one and taking it, but not quite taking the other one. They start to try to spearhead out towards this city, but the defenses in this area are not going to allow them to do that, so they get kind of just pushed back around here. The Finns, they have a lot of forces. The Finns are by far the strongest country in this alliance. Speaking of power rankings, by the way, we can go ahead and look at that with Turkey in number 1. They just invaded the Mesopotamian country, and now the country is gone. It's been partitioned into... Was that what happened in the last episode? It might have been. It's been partitioned into like 4 new countries, and yeah, there are little countries out here in this sort of Mesopotamian Arabian region. Second is still Spain, pretty strong empire. Poland is third, which is, to note, pretty important. Southern India is in 4th, still going pretty strong. Southern India. 5th is Bengal, 6th is Korea, 7th is Orange China, which is really desperately trying to close the gap between Korea, and they might do something kind of radical in order to do that. Finland is now in 8th, with the Indigo country in 9th, and England in 10th. So Finland, in the last episode, militarized and improved a lot of stuff in their country and made the living conditions better for the people, so they were more nationalistic and wanted to fight this war, and that has gone really well for them, as at this point, now the 8th strongest country in the world, which is a lot stronger than Finland. Well, Sweden. Gosh, what was I thinking? Anyway, we can get rid of this layer just for the moment and go back to our war, because the Polish want a good landing area to try to invade this Finnish capital, which is near Helsinki, and to do that they invade both of these islands. Now the main target is this island, where they think they can defend the Swedes pretty well. So what Sweden's going to try and do is help out the Polish in this endeavour as they push back, sending a lot of forces in against Finland. Finland also kind of just does this. But this basically just makes it possible for the Polish to now try to invade this island. They managed to capture it, but unfortunately, one of the biggest losses of the entire war, the Finnish military will squash the Polish attempts to take this area, and from there, what the Finns do is make a landing near Stockholm, taking the city, and pushing down towards the capital, capturing that city also. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is really bad for the Swedish, because now Norway over here in the west is kind of going, maybe we should just split off and do our own thing now. And that's bad because all this Norwegian stuff is also kind of splitting away. The Finns want to make it theocratic, but that's not really happening, even with these independence movements anyway. Countries like England are kind of like, maybe we should fund the Norwegians. That'd be kind of funny. Get ourselves a new ally in the north. They're kind of afraid of what Sweden could become if they won this war. But yeah, Poland, they're still doing pretty good. As they move around the Gulf of Riga, they manage to push out towards the Gulf of Finland until Finland goes, no, get away from my Gulf. And they push back the Polish along the northern coast, but do not retake this major city. And finally, something very bad will happen, as the Ukrainian country will join the war. So, yeah, they do pretty good. They immediately jump this yellowish country and take their capital city with ease. So that country is basically just eradicated. They managed to separate it into two separate pieces and move on to the border of the red country. Meanwhile, what they also do is push into the Latvian country. They push through these sort of, I think I call it Ruthenia in my mind. But yeah, they push through these areas, taking two major cities and really helping the Polish war effort. As everything's going all wrong at this point, the Finnish and their allies will just all gather together in the capital right here in St. Petersburg, which was a terrible idea because if we look at the ideology map, we can see that both of these countries have two rulers. They are a diarchy. So it's a joint ruling between the monarchy and the theocrat. And the unfortunate thing in the red country is that the king of this country really hates how much power the priest or head priest or archpriest or whatever has over the nation. So when the archpriest goes around here to do this meeting, because the king was like, sure, you can do it. Yeah, he overthrows the country and goes, right guys, we're going to be invading our former allies. So that's kind of crazy. Over here in the blue country, they like their guy a lot more. So they don't overthrow him. They're like, we're loyal to the church and being a Druidic country. But those guys definitely weren't. So the red country will abandon their alliance and they effectively kind of join the right angle triangle alliance, although, well, you're effectively joining their alliance as well in this war. Anyway, just for simplicity's sake, we're going to have the Ukrainians fully occupy the yellow country right over here, and we can see the red nation just surprise attacking everyone around them as they push into the St. Petersburg, Ingria. That's what I should call them, Ingria. Ingria country taking three major cities in very quick succession of each other and pushing around pretty well. They also have a very good border on Finland, so they start their invasion up into Finland, taking one major city and going around Lake, I can't remember what the lake is called. But they also managed to push over to the White Sea because there's absolutely zero defenses around here, because why would they be defending against the army of this country? It makes no sense. So they didn't really expect that. The Polish will push in further to the central Estonian territory, and at this point, the Estonian, Latvian country, is basically about to capitulate. They're doing really badly. They must start to lose land around here, and the Swedes around here in the west, there we go, I lost my direction there for a second, start to push back the front here in Norway, as the Norwegians get led by this new guy. He comes up and he's like, nah, the Finns are going to make us theocratic. You wouldn't want to do that. So these Swedes begin a very tricky invasion to try to retake their capital city, as these the Finns are doing pretty badly at this point. The Polish will finally fully capitulate the Latvian country, and now they start to move in towards St. Petersburg. Ingria. That's what I was going to call it, freaking Ingria. They make a push towards the capital city, getting around the capital, and eventually they will capture the city, fully occupying this part of the territory, with the rest of it going over to the red country. So there's them occupying the remainder of the territory. Now Ukraine sending their forces in, and a very big important thing is that the Polish are now allocating all of their forces towards the invasion, well, not all of, but a large part of their forces to helping Sweden to invade Finland. So Finland starts to really get pushed back here in the north, and they in fact send all of their forces back home to defend the capital area, because the Polish are now making their way towards a full-on invasion of Finland. So what they do is they make a landing here in Ireland, taking that island over, and now they're going to try to fight naval wars here in the Gulf of Finland. Sweden can finally start doing some offensive maneuvers, although their offensive capabilities are kind of broken at this point. As I said before, there's no one really defending this northern area because they've all gone south. So this is a very expedited look on how the Finns or Swedes do in this war. But yeah, at this point they kind of just take over the entire northern area with lots of that territory actually wanting to join Sweden. We see the Red Country fully capitulate this bit of absolute nothingness. So hats off to them for doing kind of nothing. Anyway, they managed to push up the remainder of the White Sea coast. So they do something like that, pretty good. And they also push out, from the Ingrian territory right here, I managed to take another beach city, although there's a lot of Ukrainian people fighting for their country, because they're going up through the area to fight around here. The Polish start to make small strategic landings on the Finnish coast, like boom, boom. They just move into that city, because it's close enough. And finally, they managed to make one near the capital city and take the entire capital over, capitulating the Finnish state. And yeah, there is the end of that. So this episode might just be where I end it now, you know? Might just do a peace treaty after this. I felt like that would be kind of fun. Yeah, let's do that, I suppose. So, if you enjoyed today's episode, like, subscribe, comment, things you'd like to see in the future. And thanks for watching.